Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
I often say comedy's doing me, which is my art. Writing's doing me, that's my art. I can paint, I don't. I write poetry, I don't write songs. I was a very late bloomer to artistry in the sense that what I just said, that art does you. You make a movie, however you interpret art to be. I was always someone who I would hear a great song and I'd be like, oh, what did the artist mean? Like, what did it mean to them? I did not decide until fairly recently when I listened to music, it's what it means to me. You know, that the artist, it doesn't matter what it meant to the artist. Or if it does matter what it meant to the artist, that's only one angle of this big picture of art. So, that being said, I had this spiritual awakening that I'll get into on my website, Natural Born Redhead. I relate it to I forget how I put it, near-death experience, a death experience. There was some unconsciousness to it. It was bizarre. It was beautiful. It was a lot of things. I have come to learn that it falls under what's called a Kundalini awakening. And there are people that spend their lives trying to unleash Kundalini, and there are those of us who have spontaneous awakenings. And that's something else that I'll get into down the road. Suffice to say, I had an experience that I came to from a very different person. But I didn't, everything was good that came out of it. My inability to use alcohol. I have had drinks since then, but not in a sedation capacity. I can drink. I started to have if I used THC, I would have a psychedelic experience. So the message was, don't use THC. I did not eat meat. At this point, I eat fish. I avoided sugar, caffeine, anything that could potentially alter my brain, I was adverse to. And I do not avoid totally, but I live totally differently. I also became a much softer soul, which was a return to my soul. I had become very hardened. So, in and amongst all of this, post-awakening, I don't know. I'm a very guided person. I have a lot of synchronicities. I allow myself the luxury of seeing where I'm led, which is something I encourage everybody to do, either through meditation, active imagination, breath work, whatever. It's interesting when you can separate thoughts from your higher self, what happens. So anyway, I was led to, I believe, Jim Carrey's 2014 commencement speech at the university in Iowa called
Maharishi.
Yes. Thank you. I was going to say that, but it didn't. I'm having a right brain experience and my left brain is in Acapulco. Having a great time. It's abandoned me totally. So that's why I'm going to talk to you with my eyes closed. So anyway, I come across that speech. I had never seen it before. It's 2022. at some point. And very often when my guides bring me something, they come in threes. I'm one of those people that needs to be pounded on to make something resonate. So I watch it and I think, oh man, if we showed that to middle schoolers, wow, the grief we would save them, and the joy it would create. Just listening to his words. I can't do it justice quickly, but it's if you haven't seen it, it's a very profound speech, but would resonate with middle schoolers as well, and I don't mean that in a trite way. So anyway, I watch it. Wow, great, shish kumbah, hallelujah. And then I'm led back to it, and I'm like, what? I got the message the first time. What the fuck's going on? So the second time, I pay more attention to Jim's reveal of a 2-story painting that he painted. And he describes it. I don't know. Are you bringing it up? It's called High Visibility.
I found it. Yeah,
I found
the picture of it.
You found her.
Mm-hmm. I found the picture of it.
So essentially, and Brian, tell me if you agree, it's a red-headed woman appearing to be drowning in the light, and then there's beings around her.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
We'll put a picture up of it next to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't do that.
Right there. Well, you could see it so that everybody understands what you're talking about.
Okay.
Do
it. Pull the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Grab some hair.
Through the magic of video editing, there will be, as we're talking, a quick snippet of it.
We're going here, aren't we? This is hard for me. I had it wasn't until the third time when I went back I had a very primal reaction. So Carrie's describing the parties around this woman, and I'm doing it off of memory. He says the bottles that empty her or you. He discusses the people that were supposed to love you and take care of you, but are very often the people who don't. And one of the last things he says is, everybody's attracted to the light, but I'm not doing it justice, but it leads to self-abandonment. So, wow, bing, bang, boom. Now I'm realizing I'm being led to this thing because it's more about the painting. So then the third and final time I went back, and I didn't go back like right away. I noticed that things were written on the painting, and they are: I drink from the bottles that empty me. I wish you nothing but the worst, meaning the people in your life who were supposed to support you and take care of you who don't. I am a queen. Surrender to me, and you will look like a king. And how I interpret that is in a personal way. And then I don't necessarily want to go there now. And then don't leave me behind, for I have abandoned myself. So then that painting became, it was like a Field of Dreams thing. I wanted to know where it was. I made the assumption it was public. I thought it might be at the Maharishi Art Gallery. I made some inquiries. I didn't get very far. I didn't push very hard. I just figured when I lost my mom, who was my best friend, that I would make a pilgrimage to this painting, have a good cry, and move on. But the magnitude of the painting really, it was like holding the mirror. That's what I'm trying to say, and I hope I said that in the previous podcast. I personally hold the mirror to others. My energy either really turns people on or off. I'm an energy alchemist. I do a pretty good job with reading people now that I've learn the hard way how to do it, if you will. So what I'm trying to say is that painting was the mirror being held to me, and I needed, irony. If you know me, I can be pretty obtuse. So here's this 2-story motherfucking, redhead in my mind, like, get it yet? Get it yet? Get it yet? So that's the story. And then it started me listening to Carrey in interviews and learning that his energy, I want to be careful here because I'm not trying to be weird. I just, as an energy alchemist, I am very intrigued by mostly the energy of people who have passed on. So to be intrigued by somebody's energy who's living is it just doesn't happen that often to me. And when it does happen, and when I say it doesn't happen often, it's happened several times, but not like 700 times. It's happened, say, 50 times in my life. So when it happens, I pay attention. And typically that's because of something that it's kind of like my shadows being revealed to me, and the best parts about me at the same time are being revealed to me. Yeah. So, how did I do?
That was good.
Do you have any questions for me?
I mean, I don't think so.
Do I want to own the painting? Maybe.
It would be interesting to find where that is, though.
Yeah. I think I would break. I think I would break. And since then, now that painting made me realize that, Carrey has spoken about how he was ahead of, in my opinion, ahead of the 8 ball, like when he did the Truman Show, and regardless what it meant to anybody else, the Truman Show made me very sad because it was like the epitome of scapegoating and having so many people be in on the joke. And just as an autistic, it made me realize that was a good part of my life. So he has talked about in interviews how, again, very often whatever he's engaged in art-wise is doing him. And that's when I started to find meaning in music and art and other things that, I'm another being energy-wise that was always near and dear in life and in death is Prince. Like, lyrically. I saw him in concert once. I don't know why I didn't do it 75 more times. It wasn't really the in-person experience because that's the energy exchange. You don't have to know the person. You know what I mean? You don't have to resonate with them in 3D. It's not about the 3D experience. So yeah, there was just a lot of lessons that that journey led to a couple, a very bizarre experience I ended up having with somebody. In trying to find the painting, I had somebody misrepresent. So I don't want to get into it now, but I ended up being taken for a small ride. I didn't realize when people misrepresent themselves on the internet, I didn't realize it goes beyond naked pictures and trying to solicit funds. Like, people just do it for sport. And that there's a story there that I can't wait to tell, but not here. I'd rather write about that one. But yeah, inadvertently, somebody tried to take advantage of me actually enabled me to start thinking bigger, which was also the point of the painting, was to think bigger. It was also the point of his speech in a way. You'd have to hear it. Again, it's just, if you think along those lines, it's pretty powerful. I have subsequently, I don't know if I said this already, just watched him in interviews and gotten snippets of what he tries to talk about in interviews historically, and what sort of he would lob these things out and they would be consistently dropped, not picked up. The interviewer would just not know what to say. And I thought, oh, yeah, I can relate to that. There's so many things that I like to talk about, although of late it's gotten easier, obviously, because I'm going headlong into it. So I'm going to attract those who want to talk about all that's going on beyond the human experience. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. I wrote some things down that I just have to refer back to very quickly. I don't want to make you have to edit. Oh, I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. I think when we hold the mirror, and you're not aware you're holding the mirror, it makes for a very painful life until you figure it out. And then when you realize, I'm sure, Jim Carrey's held the mirror for millions. I'm sure that's a big part of his purpose of his calling is to free people from concern. I never knew he had that calling. My calling was delivered to me: spare grief, incite joy. So again, that was something that I where it came from, it's really hard to explain. It just was very evident to me, and that's why I'm doing this. If I can spare you an ounce of grief and incite joy, that's what I want to do. And that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to get back to the mirror thing. Oh, my mother used to say to me, my mother was, I've touched on her before. My mother was incredible, and everybody says, you don't know what you have until it's gone, and it's true. The first year without her she's with me, so it was tough. Now I've entered year 2, and I thought I was ready to do the podcast. I am ready to do the podcast, but I didn't expect it to be tougher where she's concerned. It is literally not hearing the voice, not having the body present, and having a best friend that happens to be your mother is what a fucking catch-22 that is. But she used to tell me, where my ex was concerned, that he couldn't look in the mirror. And I heard the words, and I don't know why she was delivering them, but, essentially she meant he couldn't look at himself, which speaks back to the shadow and narcissism and the other things that I have referenced earlier in the week. That mirror concept, ideally we shouldn't need someone else or a 2-story painting to get it. I know for myself, making the unconscious conscious, it almost killed me. And I don't mean in a taking my life way. I don't mean that way. It's just spiritually finding my soul again, I think I spoke to it before, just meant losing so much. But what's the alternative? And I think a lot of people were sort of facing one another, facing ourselves. It's a sign of the times. It's hard, but what's the alternative?
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. Jai Ma.